What do they call it when you get like sick on a boat?
Seasick?
No. Well, maybe it is seasick.
That's what you.
You guys, today might not be so good. I was thinking of the thing you take when you get on a boat. Dramamine, yeah. Maybe you need some Dramamine to help with your imbalance.
Thank you.
Oh,
that means a lot.
That's
a good thought.
Your ears are affected by your back
right now.
Well, I didn't actually follow. So once I got it, I was like, there you go. That might actually work.
Yeah. Well, I think before we get into Star Wars, we gotta give our first guest host.
The hostess
Maddie.
with the mostest.
The hostess with the mostest.
Maddie Moyers.
Maddie Moyers is our first student guest host ever. So
Heck yeah.
Thanks for piloting whatever the seat's going to be.
You're welcome.
Well, you're a senior
Yep.
at Roosevelt High School,
Yep.
and you're committed
I am.
to
I'm committed to Lubbock Christian University in Texas.
play basketball.
So, yep. Yep.
What position do you play?
I'm a shooting guard. So
Gotta clarify that I'm a shooting guard, not
just a guard.
not just any normal guard.
Right.
Shooting guard.
I like that. Well, we're gonna touch real quick on the first podcast because y'all showed up and gave so much support and love to the point that as of this video, it's at like 800,000 views.
Crazy.
Where there's a moment where Luke talked about Star Wars and how Anakin turned to the dark side. Are you a big Star Wars fan?
I wouldn't say I'm not.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan. It's definitely.
But you'll watch it.
I'll watch it.
Okay.
I'll watch it. But I
it.
think they're like incredibly well done, and I just like watching it because they're so well done. But I think like I have younger brothers, so I'll watch it if they're watching it. But like it's not.
That makes you a good sister.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I was watching a TikTok earlier this week that was saying for stuff like Star Wars, you know, it's so cinematic, it's so grand. What you really have to do is watch it in black and white if you want to appreciate like the actual like the cinematography behind it, because so much of it is like bright colors, flashy lights, stuff going quickly. And it was saying with Andor, which is my favorite Star Wars TV show, if you watch it in black and white, it almost feels like a totally separate universe that is just good sci-fi storytelling. So I might have to try that.
Yeah.
It's good. Who should get their own spin-off show?
Jar Jar.
Yeah, I was gonna
There you
say.
go.
Yeah, of course.
That would be good. I would watch that.
Redeem that character.
In all seriousness, I think Darth Maul should get his own show. I think that
Maybe say in the chat, Darth Maul or Jar Jar Binks. We'll do that.
we'll have to take a poll.
Yeah. Well, officially welcome back to the Rocky Students Podcast. We're excited about today. We're pumped.
Yeah.
Let's jump into who our guest is. Our guest today spent some time growing up in Colorado, is the oldest of 3 other siblings, you being one of them.
Yep.
Won the Northern Atlantic Conference Player of the Year.
Dang.
Along with a bunch of other nominations and things that we'd be here for a couple minutes.
Yeah, we would.
So I'm just passing on it. And is currently, are you a shooting guard? We gotta be.
Yeah,
I was gonna
she
say
is.
the website says guard, but we're gonna go with shooting guard
Yeah.
at the University of Wyoming. And as always, ChatGPT, I can never say it. And ChatGPT said this: introducing the star of the show, the girl who's got it all, faith, family, and a wicked jump shot. Get ready to be inspired, entertained, and uplifted by the incredible journey of the oldest and best sibling of 3.
Oh,
You can take that up
ouch.
with ChatGPT.
There are 4 of them, by the way.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, she has 3
She
siblings.
is
She
4.
is the 4th.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then it
So-
said this: ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the Wyoming wonder,
Ooh.
Grace Moyers. Grace, welcome to the
Put
show.
your hands together.
There we go. Hey,
You can't hear it, but
welcome,
people are cheering for you in the
welcome.
headphones.
I didn't ask this earlier, but did you drive here today?
I did. I got done with class and I booked it. I didn't even have time to grab a coffee, so thank you.
Wow.
for helping me out.
Okay.
Well, thanks for driving here this morning.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest. I've never been to Wyoming.
Yeah.
Is it worth the trip?
You know, there are some parts that are really pretty. You got to go see some parts.
Okay.
But I would say do it in the summer. Don't go after September. Way too cold. It's like Narnia.
Oh, love
We're
that.
getting I was walking to class today, 40 degrees, big old sweatshirt, got here sweating like crazy. So It's a whole different world up
It's
there.
like Narnia.
I called her, like, she called me and she was like, so, like, is it warm there? And I was like, yeah, it's like 85 today. And yeah,
Wow.
it's like a whole different, it's not that even that far. It's like an hour and a half to Lubbock without traffic, or not Lubbock to
different.
Laramie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
It's
call
different.
it Laradise, so there are some cool things there. But,
Paradise.
yeah.
Oh man, that's a first for me. I've never heard that. We played a couple teams in Wyoming, and it was always like, we're in for a much longer road trip
Yeah.
because it's always snowing there.
Yes.
Always.
Do you guys get to fly for some
We
of the teams?
do.
Okay.
So we don't have an international airport in Wyoming. So we charter out of a small one.
Okay.
But most of the time we will drive 3 hours to Denver and then fly out. So preseason those are some long trips.
Is it just that much easier, or is it more expensive just to fly out of the smaller
It's more
airports?
expensive to
Yeah,
charter.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they save that for the men's team.
Of course.
So they give it to us during season, but they let men have priority. to start up
Unbelievable.
with, so.
Unreal.
So this is a cool thing that I just learned the other day. I was watching of someone being like, "Hey, women in sports, they want to get equal pay."
Yeah.
And it was women's NBA and NBA. And I've always thought like, oh, this is dollar amount. And they're like, no, we just want the same percentage
Oh, yeah.
that women's NBA
yeah.
that the NBA players are getting from the profits that. And I was like, how is that not a thing yet? So
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
gotta make that a thing. And
Yeah.
it starts in college. Let's get
Let's
some
let's
nice
get the girls
charters.
a preseason charter.
I
Okay.
love that.
Yeah, please.
Looking
Well-
at you, Wyoming.
I know, right? What's the Wyoming mascot?
It's a steamboat. So it's like a bucking horse.
Oh yeah.
I got in trouble my freshman year. I accidentally called it a Bronco, and we got the Boise State Broncos going, and I just got roasted. I was like, this is not the way in. It's calling it a Bronco.
Oh man.
And with how the Denver Broncos are looking this year, you probably don't
yeah,
want to be
yeah.
a Bronco.
Don't want to
yeah.
Sorry,
associate
guys.
too much
Don't want
there.
to do that.
All I know is we've got the Broncos Bears game this weekend, and
Might have a chance.
it's gonna be a special game.
You might have a chance.
It might look like really good football because they're both so bad that it's not gonna be a blowout.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it could also just look like two really bad football teams.
They're both blue and orange too.
Ooh,
So
it's gonna be a mess on that field.
well, for people that don't know you, tell a little bit about yourself of how you ended up at Wyoming. You're a sophomore there, yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
But just for people who don't know you, tell us a little bit about your journey, how you got there. Because you did grow up here in Colorado, yeah?
I did. Yeah.
'Kay.
And I wanted to stay close to home.
Okay.
So in a way, Wyoming was a blessing, but also, if I'm being really honest, I did not want to go there. And
Yeah.
I feel like it was kind of a God moment where he was like, no, you're going to go there. Like, there aren't really any other opportunities. COVID was really hard with recruiting, and just the transfer portal and kids getting to stay an extra year. And so when it got down to my senior year, I was like, man, Wyoming is really the only scholarship I have right now. And I don't want to go, but I feel like God's like, you go and it's going to be good. And
Yeah.
so I feel like I've seen the fruit of that this year. Not so much freshman year. Freshman year was super, super hard. But yeah, that's how I ended up there, and I'm loving it.
That's cool. I forgot that you kind of went in during the COVID
Yes.
and with people getting to stay.
Yes.
I've heard a little bit about the challenge of college sports right now with those 6-year seniors and
Yeah, it's pretty messy. So.
yeah, that is crazy. Between you two, when it comes to basketball, I have a brother, and I know I was a better basketball player
yeah.
because
Oh,
because of him. So like
Ooh.
we helped each other be better in all things. But if you were to do like the 3-point competition,
Oh,
where
yeah.
you get your 30 shots,
Okay.
Yeah.
at each spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. you do, like,
Which of you
5
guys
and-
think who would take the cake? Who would win?
Well,
it'd be like a by the day type of deal.
I think it really
now.
would. Like, I
Okay.
didn't want to, yeah.
Yeah, and it didn't used to be like that, which is really funny. And now it's more fun. Like when we came
Yeah.
back, we played horse a couple times, and I was like, oh, dadgummit.
Yeah.
My sister's beating me. My younger brother's beating me. I mean, you saw me and Jake were playing one-on-one
Yeah.
all summer, and I think this is the last summer that I will be able to keep him in his place. I was like, that kid's going to get me next
Yeah,
year.
he's-
gonna get
he's
me. But don't
growing.
tell him that.
Hey,
Don't tell him
it was nice.
Oh,
we
we
had,
won't
we
tell
had the 3v3 basketball competition for our launch for Rocky students.
Some ballers showed
That was
up.
so fun to watch.
People were trying to alley-oop a little bit. On
Yeah, and your brother, his team, I mean, you saw it, Maddie.
Yeah.
They were undefeated on the middle school side. But it was nice, though, putting them into the high school kind of.
Yeah,
And they were talking a big game, and then they get their butt kicked by the Frederick High School varsity boys.
Yeah.
Oh, and that feels good. So I say we let it happen while it can.
Yeah, that's
you know?
true. That's true. You know, that's the first thing. He didn't say, I walked in the door today and he wasn't like, Grace, man, it's so good to see you. He just held up his purple shoes. It was like, look at these, man.
He was
Look
like,
at these.
look.
And then I
Yeah.
did get a hug, but it's like,
That's
man,
funny.
those are
Do you guys wear the same size shoes?
Us too.
Do either of you guys wear the same size shoe as Jake?
So
No.
Jake's probably bigger than both of us now, and then I wear the same size shoe as Luke now.
Okay.
So they're both gonna be big boys.
I was just hoping that like maybe
Yeah.
Jake would grow out of the shoe and then it
Maybe.
gets passed on.
I
But
mean, I could
Yeah.
fit into a bigger
they're
shoe.
cool.
Just
maybe.
put on 2 socks.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
It was good. So I got to play a little bit of college basketball, and I just have to say, shooting guard is one of my shooting guard and point guard are my favorite people to play with,
Yeah.
because as a big person down low or setting a pick, it's like I can't ball handle the same way you can, nor can I usually shoot threes the same way. So it was like whenever I do a pick and roll, those are my favorite people.
Yeah,
Or if I'm
have-
posting
yeah.
up and people sink in, kicking out to you guys was.
yeah.
So I'm thankful for your guys' positions. It's the
thank
best.
you.
But like having a good post is so important because like if your post doesn't know what they're doing, it makes it so much harder on us. So like having a good post is really important
Yeah,
too.
you
It's
draw
really
all
it's
the
really
outside defenders in, give us a
and
little
just
space for
dump
the
down.
jump
Yeah.
shots.
yeah.
Let's do let's do a little basketball like trivia game. So
Oh
Okay.
no.
for all the post players out there, I'm going to mention 3 things. And if you don't know them, go do some research. But then I want to know like what's the equivalent of a shooting guard language, right?
Oh,
So
Oh, okay.
I'm going to do pick and roll because that was my specialty
All
in
right.
college. It's like all of our plays started that. So pick and roll is either pick and roll,
Yeah.
pick and pop,
Yep.
or a pick and slip.
Yep.
Do you guys know what all those terms are?
Yeah.
I know what all of that means.
Yeah,
That's because we
Good
learned.
job.
Do you want me to bring it up again? Last episode we learned you were a genius.
Listen,
35 ACT.
don't do that. to me.
Anyways, what's the
Don't do that to me.
what's the equivalent language that maybe a shooting guard has when it comes to like? I'm just trying to see if there's something out there that we can teach
Yeah.
Yeah.
people about basketball. Like here's a real basic one: is when you pass, you don't just stand there; you try to move. Right?
Yeah.
You learn that real early on.
Uh-huh.
If you're trying to coach a shooting guard, hey, here's the top like 3 things you should know.
Yeah.
What are you gonna give it?
Probably never stand still. Like if you've watched like Steph Curry play, like he's incredible. He
Yeah.
never stands still. Like if you want to create stuff for yourself, never stand still. What would you say like from a college perspective? Because it's just it's a different game.
Yeah, I would say active hands and active feet. Just
Mm.
making sure you're ready, shot ready before the ball even comes to you.
That's really good. Yeah. Is
Like
there
that.
anything else? I
Be
think that
ready.
really, yeah.
Yeah.
That's.
I mean,
yeah.
it's such a faster game that like, you
Mhm.
don't have that much time, and so just being ready to shoot and get it off quick.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
Is it? And maybe I just don't know because you're talking about a lot of like skill things. It sounds like you guys there's a lot of mindset things that
Yeah.
you guys have to. You're thinking the whole time that you're playing,
yeah.
whereas it's like he might have one job. It sounds like you have like a constant. You're
Yeah.
always adapting, always evolving.
Yeah.
Is there anything that's like a hard skill that you're like to be a shooting guard? You have to learn how to do this. I mean, shoot the ball.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, you have to know. Yeah,
You have to-
yeah. Which there is mind stuff behind that too, like having good mechanics and good form. What would you say, like maybe knowing the floor?
yeah, it kind of just comes down to can you read the defense in game time speed. And so, like for me, I'm really excited for when you go to college, and because I'll talk about things to her, and she'll be like, "Yeah, I think I get what you're saying, but I haven't quite experienced it yet."
It's so much different. Like high school basketball is so much slower than like you watch. Like I got to when I went on my visit, I got to practice with them, and I was exhausted because like you never stop moving, and like it's such a faster, stronger, quicker game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll play like 2 possessions of defense. You're like, I used to play the whole game. I used to play 40 minutes and be totally fine. And coach puts me in for run rotation. I'm like,
Yeah.
I need one.
Yeah.
Like, you know, 2 down and backs and I am dead.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just much
Yeah.
faster.
And
There's-
I think, yeah.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Something you don't really realize about shooting guards is a lot of times we do double as a point guard. Sometimes, like you wouldn't think that of me because I'm bigger, but I do. Like when we only have one point guard on my high school team, so when she subs out, I have to double as a point guard. So you actually, and then sometimes I double as a post. So like it's a lot different. Depends on your size, but like it's a lot different. You have to know a lot of the other positions too, which can be overwhelming for some people.
On offense and defense.
Yeah.
Like those are her
Yeah.
offensive roles. But like for me, I would double as a point guard so I can guard the other team's point guard.
Yeah.
And so it's both sides of the court, which is really interesting.
That is crazy. The one thing that I think that for whatever reason stuck out with me if I'm ever giving a shooting guard tips is when you catch the ball, there's a lot of people who enjoy, or just a habit, they drop it down
Yeah.
as they're jumping.
Yeah.
And this motion of you catch it and just bring it right over to where you're
like
gonna
negative
shoot.
movement.
Yeah, like
That's
it takes half a second to a second off your release,
Yeah.
and it can keep a defender pretty far away.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked a little bit about basketball and family. I want to combine the two together. All right. So, we get to work with your dad, Sean, and he, since I've known him, hasn't had hair. He's a bald man.
He did have the beard. He just got rid of it.
I'm
was a
sad
good-looking
about
beard.
that.
Me
I
too.
loved
I
the beard.
He rocked it. I mean, 9.5
months.
months,
Yeah.
almost.
Long time.
Way longer than I
Yeah.
thought
He
he
was
would.
good. People called him Rick Grimes from with The Walking Dead.
Love that.
Oh,
Which
that's like
does
his
happen to
favorite
be his
show.
favorite show.
So there
maybe
you
that's
go.
what he was
It's a
going for.
compliment. But I want to know your guys' Mount Rushmore of bald NBA players. All right, like
Oh.
Kobe doesn't work. I looked him up. He did
Okay.
more than half of his career with some fuzz.
Okay.
Was Michael Jordan bald?
He
Yeah.
makes
Yeah.
the cut.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 1.
Michael
Okay.
Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
Charles Barkley was.
He was
Yeah.
bald?
Was he bald?
Yeah.
Wait, is Shaq bald?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Shaq
Yeah.
was
That's
bald.
a
Okay.
bald
We're doing
man.
There we go.
Dude, Charles, Shaq, and Michael. That's a good lineup so far.
Okay. who else?
There's one other one.
There's only one other bald.
Well, I that I'm
NBA
like
player.
thinking of. I have it in the front of my mind.
Yeah. What's
We're
his
not
name?
big like NBA people. Like I love to
Yeah,
watch
that's terrible
college
of us.
more.
We're more of like the
Yeah.
modern college ball
Like,
play.
We don't want to make fun of bald college players yet.
That would be just sad.
It's a little close
It's-
to
That's
it's
home.
a
where we
lit-
might get some
We
controversy.
gotta draw a-
For some of these students, that's like 5 years in their future. Sorry.
It's okay, guys.
It's
There's
genetics.
products.
I
There's
got white hair.
products.
Some people bald. Okay, so we got Shaq. Charles Barkley, Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
It's pretty good so far.
One
more.
There's
Who's
a.
the guy
I
from-
can. Oh, go ahead.
Did he play at Indiana? Gosh.
Are you
what's
thinking
his-
Jason Kidd?
Yes. No, I don't.
Yeah, I was just saying, no. Oh, man, what is his name? This is terrible. We should know this.
I have like one guy in my mind.
Yeah, I can picture him.
Like
His
Kareem
sister's
Abdul-Jabbar.
name is Kia.
There
I
you
know
go.
That.
what?
His sister's name is Kia. This is gonna be terrible when we figure this
Yeah.
out. It'll be like,
Kia. Where's that? Oh, that's Chia.
Yeah.
Chia Pets.
gosh, what is his name?
Let's look up
This is
NBA.
so
So he
bad.
scored like 11 points.
Is he
in,
currently
like, 8
playing?
seconds. That's
Oh.
what he's. Yeah, what's his name?
It wasn't Ray Allen. It wasn't Kevin Garnett. Those are all bald players, by the way.
So we have a lot.
Oh,
more.
it was Vince Carter.
Strike.
Was it not Vince Carter?
Sorry, can we
Who
look it up?
scored? Yeah,
All I'm
10
thinking of, like, I have the
points
like
in-
Sports Center guy in
Yeah,
my mind.
yes,
with-
that's him. But what
No,
is-
I'm thinking of the guy with the glasses.
Oh no.
Reggie Miller.
Reggie.
There you
Miller.
go.
That's bad. I should know that.
Okay.
Okay, so
Four.
those are you? Who's gonna? Those you're picking Reggie, Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, and Shaq.
Yep.
I think
Your
that's a
dad
pretty
can't
good
be
squad.
on the list.
I know. Darn.
But who's the fifth bald Mount? Wait, is Mount Rushmore 4 people?
4 people.
Yeah,
Four
it's
people.
4.
Maybe we should cap it at 4 because we don't know enough.
Great.
Perfect.
Hey, we got 3 strong.
You got 3
Yeah, we did.
really important ones.
Yeah.
Fourth
There's
could
some-
be, there's so many people it could be.
Yeah.
There's some good legends there.
We did pretty
Jordan and Shaq, I think, are a must.
So we have a reoccurring bit here that's made by students, that is pulled by students on the Instagram.
Okay.
And so this episode's one was this: would you rather live in it's always Christmas break or always summer break?
Oh man.
I would do summer. I don't know
Your
about you.
entire life is gonna be summer or Christmas break.
Oh, I don't know that.
I mean,
Is it ever like so? You don't get a Christmas every like 2 weeks then.
that would be sick.
See, that's what you have to think about.
I'd run out of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd all be making gifts.
Because we're all off work, too. so
Handmade.
it's like-
Do you guys have are you leaning one way or the other?
Oh yeah.
We'll go no Christmas. It's just Christmas themed.
Just Christmas.
Yeah,
well,
do
one,
Christmas.
one Christmas, right?
Yeah, so you still have
Yeah,
all
one
the same.
You have one
holidays,
Christmas, but the other 365 years are just Christmas break themed.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Years or
don't know.
days?
days.
Days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Matt's struggling today, this year.
it's okay. That's why we
That's
have
a long
coffee.
time.
This is why I'm
That's
over here
fine.
drinking coffee.
Yeah.
At coffee at 3:15.
What would you do? I kind of know. Should we say what we think each other would do?
Yeah.
I know what you would do.
Well, you just said summer.
a-
That's
I
what I would
know.
have guessed.
Yeah.
What would you say for me?
I would say summer for you because you like warm
I
weather.
do. I love summer, but I also love the holidays.
Oh.
I might be able to help you out here.
Okay.
I think if you choose Christmas, I mean, this could go both ways, but you can always travel to somewhere warm.
Oh,
during Christmas
that's
break.
True.
True.
That's very true.
Which
You can
I
also
should
do,
not think this, but there's two different hemispheres
Yeah,
of the
you
Earth.
could also
so
do that
during summer break.
Go
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah, but
somewhere
then I have to
cold.
pay money, so I guess I have to pay money to go to.
It's hard either way.
Wow.
It's
I
tough
just
either
think
way.
of I mean, did you guys grow up watching Phineas and Ferb? You know, it's like
the
endless
littlest
summer.
bit.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
that's what I think when I think of endless summer vacation.
Yeah.
Building a rocket and fighting a mummy and climbing, you know, all the stuff. So
Do Christmas music or summer music? I think there's a
Summer
clear.
music.
Summer music.
Summer.
Because like,
if I have to listen to it for
What
a
do you-
whole year, like for the rest of my life,
just think about how much more summer music there is.
yes, you
Like,
can only take so much Bing Crosby. Okay,
Yeah.
you know,
I can't believe you just said that about Bing.
I love.
If
Bing.
he was able to make more music, he probably would have. But he can't. R.I.P. God bless him.
Is he dead?
Bing?
I don't know.
I'm
I
pretty
don't
sure.
know either.
I think he was making music in like the 1920s.
No. How old is Bing
Well, I
Crosby?
mean-
What's the best summer song? Will you look that up?
Bing Crosby died October 14th, 1977 at age 74 in Alcobendas.
So you might be right.
In Alcobendas.
Yeah, I don't know.
That
I
sounds
bet
like
that
a fun-
sounds like a summer
he,
place.
he did so much Christmas music. He's like, I gotta live somewhere
get
nice
me
and
outta here.
tropical.
Yeah.
Oh,
He couldn't quite get to
He was like,
his Mele Kaliki Maka, you know, 24/7.
that's a great song.
that is a good song. It's a catchy song.
Well, just so you guys know,
That's the
You-
key.
Yeah.
by the way, I am losing on the podcast at least twice. The guests have chosen against me.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah.
But
You're a Christmas guy?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think
The one hard part is I like winter fashion. Like I like layers.
yeah,
I like
me
all
too.
that.
layers are good. You don't have to, you usually get some time off from work or school,
True.
which summer break people
Summer
who are
you
working
don't.
do not get.
Yeah.
You
that's
get July
true.
4th off, so
And
But then,
Memorial
like, where
Day.
would you have all your
Yeah.
money to buy, like, good? Because you can't wear the same things year round. You have to, spice it up sometimes.
Fair enough.
Some new things.
Instagram, by the way, said always Christmas break at 55%.
No way. Actually, I
Yeah.
voted on that, and I said summer.
See,
I think
summer
I
was
also said
45%. So
Goodness.
it was a good try.
Man.
But you guys won today.
Yeah, they're wrong.
You might have actually swung a lot of people
Yeah.
to choose summer.
Maybe
Yeah, if we had them
Maybe we will.
revote.
It
Yeah.
feels like
Maybe
summer.
yeah.
So, here's another thing that I came across the other day. I almost said I came across North Korea the other day, but they actually have
Really?
crazy.
Just in
You guys
passing?
heard of
North
it?
Korea.
Have you ever heard?
It's a great Dennis Rodman. He's like our ambassador over there.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard that name before.
If you want to see one of the most bizarre basketball clips, look up Dennis Rodman and the Globetrotters.
I've definitely.
They're in North
Oh,
Korea.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dennis Rodman,
Got
Globetrotters in North Korea. Anyways, they have some rules that they want to bring into basketball.
Really?
And so I'm going to ask you guys, you can jump in on this too. There's 5 rules.
Mm-hmm.
Which of we're at our 29 minutes. Hey, thanks for doing that.
Way to be on top of it.
We got to keep that thing going. There's going to be 5 rules. Which of I'm going to have you say you got to choose 2 to incorporate into the basketball that we know here. Okay?
All right.
All right. Slam dunks are worth 3 points.
Oh, well, that doesn't really
Not
apply
two.
to
Doesn't
us.
really apply to the women's
Oops,
game.
Well, you got Brittany Griner. She's like my height.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Is she back yet?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah,
She's back?
Oh,
she's
yeah.
back.
Oof.
All for glory.
She was tearing it up. So slam dunks are 3 points. Oh, you guys might like this. 3-point shots are worth 4 if the ball doesn't touch the rim.
Oh, I like that.
If it's a
like
straight
that one.
splash, it's 4 points.
Oh.
Pretty good.
They might have to come up with some technology to figure that out, but that's one. 1 point is deducted for every missed free throw.
Oh. Ooh, that would be rough. My
We
team
already
misses
pay
so
that
many
for
free
that
throws. Yeah.
experience
Dude,
instead.
I-
Let's not.
I like that one a lot. This one's crazy. Any field shot, any basket made in the last 3 seconds of a game is worth 8 points.
Oh. That would just be sad. Like, what if it was close and you worked for a lead and then, like,
You
That
really
would-
have to work for
that
the
would really-
upbringing.
How many
Yeah.
times have you been stalling with the basketball?
I
Passing around the
know.
perimeter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One bad pass.
Right.
Yeah.
And the last one is games can end in a tie.
Oh no,
Oh,
no,
no.
not that one.
That's so. That attitude is so American, and I love it because it's like everywhere else. It's
No,
like
there's got to be a winner.
the biggest sport in the world, soccer, ends in ties all the time.
that would
but
be
over
awful.
here, there has to be a winner.
Are you guys
Which I
soccer
love.
fans?
I like
I
soccer.
enjoy it.
Watching soccer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch some of the Women's
watch-
World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was sad. Team USA. It was real sad.
Yeah.
We got to wait 4 years.
Something like that.
Really? I have no idea.
Yes,
Yeah, I think
We
they
are not
rotate.
soccer people.
Soccer, yeah.
I wasn't until I played FIFA because I had
Oh.
friends that played FIFA,
Mhm.
and then they kind of just force you to be like, "Oh yeah, Tottenham sucks. That's for you, Joel Dill." And when we went to Kenya on this last October Kenya mission trip, there was an Arsenal game on at night, and you could hear everybody
Oh,
cheering.
yeah.
We were
That's
at dinner, and they turned all the TVs went to the Arsenal game, and people tear it up. It's wild.
That's
It's even like soccer fans are way crazier than football fans,
Yeah.
except for like
Probably 'cause,
Eagles
like,
fans.
Yeah. There you go. There you
Eagles
go.
fans are wild.
That is very true. So I feel like you guys were taking it's 4 points
The
if it's a
4.1.
if it's a
Yeah.
note if it doesn't touch the rim.
Yeah, I like that.
Which other one are you taking that you'd had in?
What were so
Slam
there
dunk was
slam
3
dunk.
points. 1
Three
point
for-
deducted for every missed free throw.
Oh. I mean, we could do the slam dunk one because it doesn't because we don't like any of the other ones.
Yeah, I might have to go with that.
Talk about
Okay.
slam dunks. Have you guys heard that everybody talking about lower the women's goal or
Oh no, I
Yeah.
don't.
that
I don't like that.
Yeah.
don't like?
Because like think about all the time and work we've put in a 10-foot hoop,
Mm.
and
would
then
be a
if you
crazy
lower
change.
it that
Having to
much,
change it.
like
Yeah.
our depth perception and like I don't know, that would just screw things up. I feel like.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, what if it didn't affect you guys? Like,
Oh yeah.
let's say high school and up finishes playing like this, and then you
and
kind
then
of
it was
start.
everyone else.
Yeah, even like
Yeah.
6 inches.
I don't
I don't know how much it would need to be.
Yeah.
But,
I mean,
so that dunking is a more viable option.
that's yeah. I mean, I still wouldn't be able to dunk, but I mean,
Ditto.
some people
Might be cool for
might.
some people. I actually had a teammate who she went to Stanford. She's now at UCLA, Lauren Betts. And our last season playing with her, our coach was like, hey, maybe we should start practicing some alley-oops because she was getting up there. So, I mean, if you play with somebody, Fran Believin, went to Regis, she went to Stanford. That was their, like, pregame warm-up, would she throw one down? But
Yeah.
I don't know how many girls are gonna be
Well,
dunking quite
so
yet.
Alex Eschmeyer just got an offer from Stanford. She played on the club I played for. She's a year younger than me. She can dunk with a volleyball right now. So
Wow.
she's
That's
like,
wild. She's
she's
close.
super
Crazy.
close. Yeah.
Dang. I
Her-
couldn't even
yeah.
dunk in high school.
Yeah. So
She's balling.
she's impressive.
Okay, so you guys don't want the minus a free throw if they miss it?
It makes you get better at free throws.
That's very true.
That's true.
Are you guys
I mean, maybe if that was there, people would just get. Well, I mean, I don't know. Then everyone would get better at free throws.
you guys shooting like 70-80% free throw?
What was yours? Yours was really good in high school. What
Mine
was,
was 92, I think.
Yeah.
See?
junior year.
it? Mhm. Yeah.
Wow, so that works well in your favor.
Yeah.
In
it
my
really
favor,
does.
but maybe for the rest of my team, like there's
Like,
5 people out
think
there.
about the
The
other
hack
people.
the hack-a-shack thing becomes big time where those
Yeah.
Yeah.
all those bigs can't make a free throw.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They'll be fouling them all the time just to make
Yeah.
them lose points.
It's true.
That's valid. That's actually
there
that's
is.
Yeah.
like
It'll be a huge tactic
yeah.
change.
All right, I'm
That's a great
I'm going
idea.
slam dunks and swishes.
There you go.
That's what I'm gonna go.
That's good. Parker, do you have anything on that?
I think
Just wondering.
you've seen me, but you've never seen me shoot a basketball. You've seen me shoot a
It gets
basketball.
better the further he goes out.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
none of them
Can we
really
go
apply
shoot
to
around
me.
after this for a couple
Yeah,
Right.
let's
I will
do it.
only do half court.
He's a
jumps.
half court king.
Well,
Um,
you almost had it. You were in like the opposite baseline, and you were like hitting the backboard from the opposite baseline. It was
Hey, man.
impressive.
But question, what's your form like?
It's
Football. It's a football.
Yeah, it really is.
I thought you were telling me you were going to pull out like a granny or
No.
something.
A granny full court shot
How would that
be
physically work? Like,
I don't know.
I don't know.
throw out my back.
Even more.
Yeah, even more.
Even more.
But
So
Yeah,
I have
so
a
I-
teammate. Sorry.
go ahead.
I have a teammate before our one of our pregame rituals is after we finish our shoot around, somebody on the team has to make a half court shot. She made 3 last year doing a backwards granny. So she'd get
That's
set up. We'd have a
wild.
teammate be like, little to the left, little to the right, adjust. And she made 3 of them last year.
That's crazy.
That is
I
really
barely
cool.
got one in just trying to shoot it, just trying to get it up there.
That
Yeah.
is
That's her
sweet.
thing.
One of my old teammates, Jeremy Ware, if you watch this, he was I think at a Phoenix Suns game. They put him out mid-court. He did it behind the back. He does it. He was doing it during practices. He was been doing it ever since we played college together, and went viral of making this awesome shot
is
on an
crazy.
NBA
Wild.
halftime show.
Is he the one that they were like, we'll pay $1 billion, and
He
then
might-
never did?
Maybe.
There's
Well,
a
he wasn't
whole-
that guy, but I do remember that one.
Yeah, I think I saw a Vice video about that. That was wild.
Yeah.
But all that to say, none of it really applies to me because I'm not actually good enough at basketball. But for watching, I think the splash,
Yeah.
that's great. It just makes it fun.
Yeah.
And I want to see basketball get more physical. So everybody go foul the center and let them miss their free
There
throws.
you go.
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh.
Maybe that's bad of me, but
Oh.
Have you
Yeah,
guys
that's good.
watched? Like, I watched the WNBA finals game last night. Liberty and whoever that other team was. It was Connecticut. I can't remember which team it was, but it was so physical. Like, I was like, they were like hacking each other, and like Sabrina Ionescu was getting like thrown, and I
That's
was like,
wild.
this is crazy. Like, it was so physical, and the refs were just letting them
Let
go.
them play. Who are you
Yeah.
guys' favorite WNBA players?
Probably Sabrina Ionescu
I'd
was
say
so
Sabrina
fun
too,
to
'cause
watch.
Yeah.
we followed her from
Yeah.
her freshman year. So like,
Oh,
hey,
that's
we
cool.
know that kid.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
Where
really
did she
cool.
Where did she play?
She played at Oregon.
Okay.
Yeah, and then she played the club team she played for. I was in the same circuit with, so I missed her by like just a couple years. But
Dang.
yeah,
That is crazy. What I think it'd be cool to hear, like, as you're heading into college,
Yeah.
what is that experience like? Of you guys both have now been recruited, so a little bit like, what are some of
Yeah.
the things that stand out to you? And then I also think just hearing a little bit about like what is the life of college sports like? I have some specific questions that students have sent in a little bit, but just kind of open floor to you guys of what is it like to be recruited, kind of that time of I'm still playing
yeah.
and I know what's next, and then just a little bit of like, what do people like? There's a lot of people that just don't know what
Yeah,
the college
yeah.
athlete life looks like.
And
So
like even like the D1 college athlete, like that is a whole different like level.
Job.
Yeah.
It's
It really
definitely
is,
a
yeah.
full-time job.
Yeah. Well, do you want to go from like high school up?
Yeah, just start with recruiting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's funny because we actually, even though we're only 2 years apart, our recruiting experiences were very, very different.
Yeah.
Just with COVID and just some different things.
Transfer portal and
Yeah.
6 years, like
Yeah, we did
or
like
fifth year. Yeah.
a little panel for Rocky Mountain Hoops Club and talked about some of that. And it was so interesting that even we were just like, wow, we didn't realize how
Yeah.
many differences there are. And it's only a span of 2 years. And even if we try to give advice to those younger than us, I'm like, I don't actually know how applicable it is because my experience was so, so different than what they're experiencing now. So, yeah, it's very different.
Mm-hmm. And the crazy thing for us, actually, we both played AAU. She played on the UIBL circuit, and I played on the Under Armour circuit for 1 year. And then this last year, I went to a different club. But we both, like, definitely talked to colleges through that. But, like, where we mainly got recruited was through high school. Like, so she got noticed, like, Wyoming noticed through her through high school. And then Lubbock noticed me through, like, on my head, like, my assistant coach's husband's father was like
weird
keeping our
connection.
stats at the game and was like, hey, we think you'd be a really good fit for this school. And so that's how we found them. So it's really different. Like, nobody's journey happens the same. Like, it's yeah.
They're all very different. Yeah, for me, Wyoming came to watch me play my sophomore year. And I got a call from them the next day, and he was like, he's one of my favorite coaches now, but he was like, I think that's the worst game you've ever played in your entire life. And I was like, I think you're right. He's like, but we see some potential, so we'll just keep talking and see how it goes. I was like, okay.
All right.
And it was
That's
my very first
encouraging.
recruiting call, and it ended up being my last, too. So it was
Wow.
crazy.
that is wild. What is like a day-to-day, if you're to walk us through, a day or two in the life of a college athlete, what's that looking like right now?
It's right now. It's with my class load. It's super, super crazy. And I think a lot of people don't realize is when I say basketball practice, I don't mean 2 hours in and out. I'm talking more about like a 4 to 4.5, sometimes 5 hour period. And so for me, like a typical day looks like I get up. I don't have class till like 10, which is super awesome. So big coffee girl. I get to have my coffee, do my devotionals, hang out. Sometimes I'll give them a call and go to class. And then practice starts at 1, but practice prep really starts at like 11. So 11:30, you're getting lunch in, you're fueling your body. You have to go see our trainer, and if there's any treatment you need to get your body ready, you're down there at 12:30 getting shots up, and practice starts right at 1. And so during season, we'll watch film, and that'll start earlier, and it looks different. Right now, because we're just preseason, there's no film to watch. So we just roll in. We start practice at 1. We go from, I would say, like 1 to 3, 3:30-ish, and we usually finish with a lift. And then you've got treatment after. And so, man, I get to the gym at 11:30, and most days I don't leave till about 5, which is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
It's a full-time job.
yeah.
And are you are you doing full classes?
Yeah,
Full class schedule?
Yeah.
What are you studying right now?
Psychology right now.
Oh, so you are like going for it.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Some of those prereqs are killing me.
Yeah,
Like
they're
I was
tough.
telling him I was taking biology. Oh my gosh, my brain does not work. that way.
Me either.
I was in an SI session and somebody asked a question like, "How does this work?" And I was like, "Because God made it that way." They were like, "That doesn't really work in this class." Okay,
That's
you know what
funny.
I'm trying to say here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Just because.
Just because
it's
God
just
made
like
it that
that.
way. Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
And that's what's important.
Yeah. And how did you end up choosing Lubbock?
I had my first like phone call with them like I don't know, it was something like April maybe, and then like 2 weeks later they were like, "Hey, we want you to come out for a visit." And I was like, "All right." It was like so out of the blue, like hadn't even talked to the head coach, like I just talked to the assistant coach. And so I went out on an official visit, which means like they paid for everything. Like we drove out there, it's about 8.5 hours, so they like paid for our gas.
Wow.
And like paid for our hotel stay, got to go see like the facilities, went on a tour, like met all the girls, actually got to like stay the night in one of the girls' apartments. So I got to like hang out with them. It was like, and
The
so,
one that had a rabbit.
oh yeah, it was awful. She has a rabbit in her little apartment, and it's in like the living room, and I chose to sleep on the couch, but she was like, "You can take my bed." And I was like, "No, I'm okay. I'll just sleep on the couch." So I slept on the couch. That thing like was just rustling all night.
No sleep for you.
And I was like, I'm gonna throttle the rabbit. Like I'm gonna kill the rabbit. And eventually I was about to throw like a pillow at it. I was like, please, I need to sleep. And I had to practice with them the next day. So I was like, and we didn't stop talking till like 12:30. So I was like already tired. I didn't end up falling asleep till like 3 something. And it was that rabbit. And so I ended up falling asleep, and then it woke me up at like 5 something. So it wasn't even that good of a night of
played
sleep.
really
That's
well.
so
I mean,
funny.
you walked away with a scholarship.
Yeah, so
kudos to you.
well, actually that's the weird thing is, so I got to practice with them, and then we went to lunch with them after, and they were like, "Well, we loved having you here. Like you did great in the practice." And they sent us back to our hotel, and we kind of just hung out, and they were like, the next day he was like, they sent us home after that. Like I didn't see them after that. And then we stayed the night again because we didn't want to start driving home at like 3. And so he took us out for lunch, or breakfast the next day, and was like, "Well, thanks for coming." And that's all they said.
Yeah.
Like they were like, "Have a great trip home, drive safe." And I was like, "Oh,
That's it.
well, we just dropped our lives for a few days and drove all the way out here." And they weren't even like, "Well, we want you to come back," or "We're super interested." They were like, "Thanks for coming." And then like left me. And they were like, the big thing they kept saying was like, "We want you to have your summer, and we want you to like be a normal kid and not have to worry about us." And I was like, I want the exact opposite of that. Like I want to like know that I'm worrying about you, and I want to have you talking to me. And so like they didn't talk to me for another like 2 weeks. I mean, they called like my dad and talked to my dad, and they were like, "Hey, it was great to have her out here." And I didn't hear from them so I went out late May, and then I didn't hear from them again until like June. Yeah. June is high school month. So I was doing high school. I wasn't like, you're not really getting recruited in June. So I was doing high school. And then like they were talking to me in June, and I guess like they just kind of kept in touch every like 2 weeks. And then out of the blue, they call my parents and were like, hey, we just can't like hold out any longer. We want to offer her. And like told them about it. And they didn't call me. They didn't tell me. They told my parents. And so like my parents, it was funny. We had just finished basketball camp here.
Yeah.
So it was like mid-June. Just finished basketball camp here. And I had like come back from practice and saw them like it was like 9 o'clock here. And we were still here after camp. Like we had practice or something. And like I walked up to the car and like they, like my mom, it was so weird. I remember she was like videoing me and I was like,
know it's bad. My mom's got
and yeah, she was like doing her whole like camera thing like this. And I was like, oh, like what is she doing? I was like goofing off with my dad. And then they told me. Yeah. And I was like, it was my first offer. So I was like bawling and I was like, there's no way. Like this is, because like that's like, once you get that first one, you're kind of like, okay, like I'm taken care of. Like I have something. I have a place to go. And I actually, when I had left, like right after the visit, I was like, that is a great place. Like the people there are amazing. The girls are amazing. The coaches are amazing. And I was like, if they offered me, I would go there. But then they didn't talk to me for a month, like months. And I was like, this sucks. Like, this sucks. Yeah. And then they offered me, and I was like, I would commit. I would commit today if I could. And my mom was like, well, let's hold out. You still have so July is the huge club month where you go to like multiple different tournaments. She's like, okay, well, you have this, but let's hold on. Let's see if you can get any other offers, like just so you have options, because Lubbock is far away. So like I had gone to like a CCU camp here, which is Colorado Christian. And I was like, that would be a cool place to go because it's close to home. It's a Christian college. And I as I went on in the process, I was like, a Christian college would be really cool for me. So yeah, and then I didn't get any other offers. I didn't even I talked, I had a little bit of interest, but I didn't get any other offers. And I think it got to be, I think I lasted 2 weeks. I lasted 2 weeks with the offer. We went to 2 different tournaments. I lasted 2 weeks and I was like, that's it. I know I want to go there and I don't want to get hurt and lose my scholarship. And so, yeah, I committed and I was like, I want to be done with this. So. Yeah, and I'm super excited. Yeah,
I mean, congrats. I'm excited for you. What is that like when you're wrapping up high school season with a plan next? Like, what's the mindset that you're about to go into it? Yeah. And I think, when did you know you were going to Wyoming? Was it mid-season before your senior year?
Ours is weird.
Mine was a little bit weird, so I went up a semester early.
Okay.
So I didn't know that my junior year was my last year.
Okay.
So I think I was offered my sophomore year. And same thing, I wanted to wait because, if I'm being honest, I didn't really want to go to Wyoming. And so I had a couple other schools I had my eyes on, and I was like, I just want to wait and see. And God made it abundantly clear, you are going to Wyoming. And I'm so glad I did. Cool. But I think I committed, was it right before my senior year? It was, we were heading into it. And then just a quick backstory. We ended up moving and had to transfer from Erie, and we went up to Roosevelt, and the state denied my transfer. And so I got to play where I was like, I can't play my senior year. And so I called up Wyoming. I was like, I don't know what to do because for a year I'm just going to be training. And they're like, you know what? If you have enough credits, graduate and come up. And so I was on the practice squad for a semester. So my freshman year wasn't just a year. It was really 3 semesters. It was a year and a half. Yeah. So even though I'm only a sophomore, I feel like I've been in college forever.
Yeah.
So
that's wild.
Yeah.
That's really wild.
So it was different because I didn't know it was my last time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. For you, what's kind of your mindset heading into senior year knowing there is currently a next?
I think there's just there's really no pressure. I mean, for my school, there is a little bit of pressure because we just won state as a 5A school, and then we didn't have any seniors. So as a senior going in, our whole team is returning. There is a little bit of pressure where people are like, well, there's nothing stopping you from going and doing it again. So there's that pressure, but there's no recruiting pressure on me. It's whatever happens. I don't have any pressure on me to perform for someone else. It's more just got to go out and win, do what my team needs. And ultimately, I really just want to win. I want to try and repeat. So
yeah. How do you avoid, because I'm sure right now it's you're kind of set. How do you personally fight that? And it sounds like you have a really strong team mindset.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to kind of coast, stay healthy, all that. How do you, knowing what's next, still put forth the best, even if there's a
Yeah.
risk of injury or this or that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think the big thing is really just I think my team needs me to perform as well as I can. So that's like, I have always been super team based, and sometimes it's my downfall because I'm like, hey, I had an okay shot, but my teammate has a better shot, even though they might not be as high percentage of a shooter. Like that could sometimes be my downfall. But I think it's more knowing that my team does need me, and we actually have a lot of injuries this year going into season. So we only have like 7 strong. So my team does need me to perform as well as I can. And also, I really just don't want to short myself. Like, I want to have a good senior year, and I want to put my best foot forward. So
Totally, that's cool.
Cool. What I love is like we got from Rabbit recruitment story to not hearing for a while to then not knowing it was your senior year, like that you were going to just move right into Wyoming. My story is a little bit of like I took 2 years off after high school.
Oh, yeah.
I was trying to find a job, and so I was like, can I be the team manager? And they're like, how about you try out, and I made the team my sophomore year.
That's awesome.
Got to play. Junior year, we got a new coach, but then I was offered a RA, which for me was more money than the scholarship. So I was like, I'm going to get my free room and board and plus some more. So I didn't play that year. And then a new coach came in that year. Senior year, they found out I wasn't student teaching and other things. And they're like, how about you come back and play again? I was like, sure. Everything else is falling through, so I'm going to play again. So I just think it's cool as like people are listening that are, hey, how do I get, like, what does it look like what's the game plan or the playbook to get into college sports?
It really is.
And it's like, do some of the basics of film and reach out to schools and put in hard work. Like, you got to have some talent, but everyone's journey is so different.
It's so different.
So it's so fun kind of hearing where you guys are at. Well, while we're kind of on this like Q&A deal, again, we got on Instagram, there's a Q&A part where people get to submit questions to you or to whoever our guest is. So shout out to everyone who did questions. We appreciate that. Some of these might be easier than others. I did a test one because I was like, I want to make sure I know how to get. And it was just, could you beat me in a one-on-one? Do you think if me and you were playing each other?
If we were playing?
Yeah, who would win?
We could find out after.
Oh.
We will find out after. Man, I'm not so confident. I'll just say that. If I get you in the post area, I'm confident, but the ball handling to get to that point, I saw when you're good at stealing, so I think you might have it. E. Griffith said, how much free time do you have?
Between college and high school?
Nah, yeah, you can. I think mostly on the college part because it was kind of directed at like, what question would you have for a D1 basketball athlete?
Yeah.
So free time.
Yeah. If I'm being really honest, not a whole lot. So especially right now, and right now is the time I'm supposed to have free time. So preseason, we always joke that like as soon as the first week of practice starts, there goes your social life. Like say bye to your buddies, and we'll come back in 9 months. So, you know, I don't have a lot of free time, but I do work really hard and try to be intentional about setting up time where I can go do social things and hang out with people outside of basketball. I do basketball, obviously, sports, but then I'm also on our FCA leadership team, so Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and so that feels like a whole nother job in and of itself. So a lot of my community comes from that, and that's where I spend a lot of my free time. So I would say if you're looking at like the day-to-day basis, not a lot. Like maybe at night, maybe I get an hour or 2 hours to myself, but by the time I get there, I'm like, I need to go to bed. Like, I'm so tired.
Totally.
It's a real thing. I think I always tell people who are going to college in general, but especially sports, you kind of have to choose 2 of these 3 things: a social life, good grades, or sleep.
Yep.
One of those has to go.
You can't really do all of them.
You can't really do all of them.
Yeah, it's hard for that.
I don't know, add a full-time sport in there, and you're just kind
A bit
of
crazy. So.
Yeah.
But there's so many privileges that it's super cool. Like it's hard, but I wouldn't have it any other way. So.
Yeah. What do you do? So I know you said right now it's like you kind of don't have the most free time. Yeah. Let's say off week, you're not playing this weekend.
Yeah.
You get your Saturday to yourself. What are you going to do? What's a must-have for a relaxation day?
Man. Definitely sleeping in. Got to get that on a Saturday. I love when it's nice in Wyoming just to go on walks. And so, like 2 of my favorite things are coffee and talking about Jesus. And so we'll go on walks with friends, go get coffee, something like that. and really just having a day to read, stay in bed. I mean, I feel like I'm out of the house so much. So I'm like, when I have a day just to hang out, I'm like, no, I'm going to hang out and stay in. So,
That's cool.
yeah.
That's good. Kind of along the same lines, again, Rayber said, how do you balance school sports and a social life? Yeah. So I think you did mention a little bit about it, but like, could you maybe go into more details of how you're able to find some balance, whether, example is like, I try to hit some text messages at this point in time, or I have decided to, with some free time I've poured into this area. So when you're kind of thinking of that balance piece, what would you say to someone else who's like, hey, I'm in a similar spot, maybe in high school sports right now, struggling finding that balance?
I would just say procrastination doesn't work.
Yeah.
And so the time, like if I'm wanting to have time for different social things, I do have to work ahead and be really intentional. And when I do that, it's not as stressful and it's definitely manageable. But it does take some preparation beforehand. Like if I have homework on Thursday night, but I know, for instance, this is a Wyoming thing. We all love to go swing dancing. So we do up there. And so if I'm like, okay, I have an assignment due on Thursday, but I'm going to be out late swing dancing, I got to start this Monday, and I got to work on it Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, try to have it finished so that I'm able to go do those things that are fun. And even though I'm out swing dancing and running around, like that's still restful and fun because it's not work. So,
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's good. This is their username, just Grady Runquist. We know Grady.
Grady Runquist.
He wants to know, what's the most famous person you've ever met?
Met or
Yeah,
ooh,
met.
that's a tough
I'd be interested to hear that
question.
from everybody.
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
Have you met anyone? Do you have
I'm kidding.
my sister? Do you have one off the top of your head that you're like, this is the most famous person
That
I feel like I've met?
met?
Yeah.
I don't think I've met. I haven't really met. Well, no, yeah. No.
I got to meet Russell Westbrook.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
One time I think we were in Phoenix for a tournament. And so he has a club team, and he was there. And one of my coaches was like, we're buds. We're going to be buds. And he took us all over there, and we got to meet him. We were like, did you know him? And he was like, no, but we just got to meet him. So,
That is really cool.
Yeah. Which he was at the last tournament I was at. I think it was Chicago.
it's really cool.
I don't know.
A couple of those guys, like I think LeBron has a team too. I don't know if he does much now that his kids are going to college and stuff, but
Yeah.
it's
Right.
really cool. So.
Who have you met?
For mine, it would be between a couple. There's this musician, Jacob Collier, that's kind of like, for musicians know him, and so it's like, but I think it's all musicians for me, except Walter McCarty. He was an NBA player. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, you should know.
Yeah.
Dang.
He was, he's an Evansville, Indiana native.
Oh.
Yeah, came back to coach
Shout out to Evansville.
University of Evansville, and we beat UK
All right.
when he was coach, and then something bad happened. I don't know, and he's gone. And then I sang with Kenny Rogers,
Yeah.
country musician. I feel like he's probably.
You get to sing with him?
I did sing with him.
That's cool.
And
That's
not just me.
like
I should qualify. It wasn't just me. It was my high school choir.
Oh,
we sang
there
with
you go.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you
no,
still
I wasn't
met
like.
him. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That is cool.
Oh, Keith Van
trying to
Horn was my
think.
club coach.
Yeah. Keith Van Horn's a pretty famous guy.
Oh.
He played in the NBA. I don't know.
Keith Van Horn.
Sorry, Keith.
So Alex Eschmeyer, her dad played for Dallas.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so we've
So I've met him.
That's cool.
There we go.
While you guys are like listing some names, is there any people that you feel like, I don't know if shout out's the right word, but they're like, hey, these are people that helped kind of get you guys to where you're at. That you're like, when I think of a couple, like,
Yeah.
I'm stuck on the Mount Rushmore thing, but here's my like top people that are like,
like
Yeah.
who did you watch?
these are the
Who were your
people that
role
I've always
models?
excited to just give some
Yeah.
thanks to get me to where I'm at. Do you guys have some of those people off the top of your head?
I'm gonna go first. You want me to go first?
Mine are not like famous. I
Yeah,
guess
that's
you
all
would
right.
say,
We're
like,
kind of shifting gears, so they
Yeah.
don't have to be famous
I would
people.
definitely say my parents.
Okay.
I think they were some of the biggest role models, and I had some cool people who didn't have to invest and chose to when I was in high school, especially, and so that was really, really cool.
That is sweet.
Definitely. So like, definitely my parents. My mom was super big. Like she coached both of us all the way through middle school, like elementary school, all the way up. So like, and she was a really good shooter in college too. So like, I feel like that's where we get our shooting stuff. So definitely. So my parents, my mom, my dad, and then my coach for the Under Armour circuit. Oh, I guess I played 2 years in the Under Armour circuit. I thought I played 1. I played 2. Her name is she's Coach Tammy. She's a hard coach, but like I don't think she was really brutally honest with me about some things, and I wouldn't be half the player I am without her either. And then our personal trainer that we had for forever, Michael Martinez, was. And it's sad, he just moved. He just moved to Vegas and left us.
Oh.
But yeah, so he was a really big one too.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
yeah.
Gotta love those coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just got to see Tammy the other day. So I'm coaching my own little 8th grade team, and I got to see Tammy, and she gave me the biggest hug. Like, it was
Aw,
awesome.
Tammy.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's good. We've kind of covered some of the other questions. So I think I'm gonna pull out my computer.
Do it.
You want to explain this one?
Yeah, so this is a recurring segment. If you watched last episode at all, it's called the IG Deep Dive.
All right.
So pictures you've posted or pictures you've been tagged in.
They're deep diving
Oh,
into
no.
our Instagram.
We're going to show it to you, and you're going to have to explain it, not
Okay.
only to us, but to everybody at
okay.
home.
All right.
Okay.
I must
So
have not
Shout out
seen
to
that.
Mom.
who's this?
All right, this first
picture
one,
of?
you guys both can explain what's going on here.
Okay.
Are we
I'm
both-
starting pretty easy, all right?
Okay.
Can you guys see that from here?
Yes.
All right, tell us a little bit about what's the backstory here.
Well, I mean, we got to go on a missions trip
Through Rocky.
Through Rocky, we
Yeah.
went to Kenya, and that was when. How long ago was that? That was a while ago. It was 2 or 3 years.
2 years.
2 years.
Not too long.
Really?
Yeah, it was right before I went to Wyoming.
Yeah. So we got to go, and then that was when we went out into like the slums area, and we just got like it was amazing how like incredibly happy and like joyous all those kids were, and so we just like they followed us for so long, and finally we were like, come in, let's get a picture. So that's that's what we did.
It's funny because they didn't know much English. Like the only part they knew was, hi, how are you?
Yeah.
So they'd be like, hi, how are you? And I'm like, I'm good, how are you? And they'd be like, hi, how are you?
Yeah.
And you just go, that's what you did for like
Yeah.
30
Oh, yeah.
minutes. And so
Yeah.
That banter
it was
is
really
great.
cool.
Yeah.
And it's
That's
like
cool.
you don't need to say more than that.
No,
it's just
a
like
smile.
so great.
They love high fives.
Yeah.
It's really
That's
fun.
that was the only time I wished I was semi good at soccer, because like that's their thing out there. They
Right.
love soccer.
Yeah.
And like they would
That's
like
cool.
want to do it with us, and we'd be like,
Oh, yeah.
we have the hand-eye coordination, but not the foot-eye coordination.
They're like,
Yeah.
As what do you think was like the biggest kind of walking away from a trip like that? And you've been to Kenya too, but walking away from a trip like that, what do you feel like kind of shaped you when you're looking back on that
yeah.
as a big takeaway from what's a really crazy cultural difference
Yeah.
going from America
Yeah.
to then talking about the slums that those kids are living in?
The crazy thing to me was to see how much joy they took away from not a whole lot. Like I just could not believe the circumstances they were living in, and they're some of the most joyful people I've ever met.
Yeah.
And their first response to everything, they would be like, man, this is hard. It was not, how am I going to fix this? What am I going to do? It's okay. Let's pray about it. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
And that was crazy to me at that point in my life, because I was really struggling with just where I was going to be and kind of the art of surrender. And so I was like, man, these guys, they know something. Like they've got this figured out here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I would say that, like, just the joy that emanated from everyone, like the adults, the kids, like everyone was so joyful and so friendly. Like there was like not very many people that we met who wouldn't like just strike up a conversation or so it was
Sweet.
I think something about this area too, specifically, we were in Madoya. I was on a trip the year after you guys. But was the power of community, right?
yes. Yeah.
Because I think even though we have club sports, we have a lot of things that have a lot of people here, but I feel like more so than ever we're really isolated. Everything's about networking. Like when you're with people, it's how are you networking? How are you, making people like you? And all this is like their family because they live near each other. It's like it's just as close as if you guys weren't related, but like had that same bond. So something cool about Missions of Hope, who we partner with there, is it's like it started by Kenyan people. Mary was set up to like graduate university, but instead felt God calling her to go back in, right? And kind of, her family was so much more than just her literal family. It was everybody that she saw in the Medoya slums, and it was so. It's just so cool and like such a perspective shift.
Yes.
To see how God can move in those ways, because it's like we were there and they were like, of course, because we're the people that are just there for a week, they act like we're a big deal, but really it was hey, God has brought you here for a reason to partner with this, not to be the saviors or this or that, but to partner in what God was already doing here.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of excitement. There was a lot of anticipation for God to continue to move. And just the fact that we showed up for them was enough of a sign that God was still moving.
Yeah.
That it provided hope that, they might not otherwise have seen so tangibly. And that was just really cool, just to see that anticipation really at the forefront of all of that.
That's cool. Changing gears a lot. What's going on here?
Oh.
Ooh, you got a giant fossil in the back.
Oh.
Yeah.
Big T-Rex.
Well,
That was just the face. My mom would be like, let's take a picture. And it was not smile. It was like, make the worst face possible. Like, I'm just going to be really stubborn and make this difficult for you.
Do that.
So that is just a prime example.
That face right there is unreal.
Yeah.
Can you redo it for us? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I feel it though, honestly.
I do smile.
We'll
now,
do it
it's
both.
okay.
We'll do it then and now.
Yeah. We'll make it the thumbnail for.
Oh yeah, there you go.
we're all just doing that face together.
Yeah, I had to get a little bit of the back to the little childhood memories.
Yeah, throwback.
What about this moment? What's going on here?
Oh, so that was 2 summers ago. My team, we actually got to travel to Australia, and we went and played a couple games over there. So,
Subtle flex.
Nice.
it was super
No
cool.
biggie.
So,
How long were you guys over there?
2 weeks.
That's like the perfect
Yes.
minimum amount of time.
Did you get to play on the Euro court, like where the key is angled?
Oh,
You ever seen these?
So,
Okay.
that's interesting.
In the Olympics, they maybe just changed it, but for the longest time, it was a trapezoid shaped thing. Like
yeah.
instead of a rectangle, it
Like
was
it came
angled out.
in, or yeah.
Yeah. So from the free throw line, it widened as it got closer to the.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah.
That must
Hoop.
make
It
it
was a
hard with
regular
like,
court.
yeah, that must make it hard with like 3-second calls and stuff. Much harder to get out of the key.
Yeah.
we played one of the teams we had 4 games. We played a pro team, and their version of a pro game is so much different than like what the WNBA would play. Like they play with music. So not only are you competing and you're having to listen to your coach and your teammates, there is music going on everywhere. And it was, it was one of the most stressful environments. Like your coach would say something to you and you're like bopping along to the song in the background. You're like, babe, what are you saying to me, coach? Like I'm listening now. So
Do you guys have a hype up song? Like this is my pre-game song I gotta listen to.
I don't usually
I'm kind of
do that.
lame. I don't.
Yeah.
For me, when I'm getting ready for games, I feel like the game itself is so stressful that instead of pumping myself up, I'm actually trying to tone it down a little bit and just get quiet before we step onto the court. So,
Yeah.
I used to in high school, but it wasn't even a favorite song. It would just be like most of the time I didn't know the song. It was just a genre and just trying to get some energy flowing. But it's a little bit different. Yeah. After you've been doing it for so long.
Yep.
So.
See, I think there's just something like have you ever seen the interview where Michael Phelps is like, I think it was him. He's like, I listen to classical music.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like there's something about people who as a big in basketball, I didn't really have to sit there and be like, I gotta get my mindset right because I'm gotta focus and shoot threes. It was like, let me listen to Panda. Panda. Because I'm getting all amped to try to get rebounds and
there you go.
knock people out with my screens.
Knock around.
All right. Do you have a hype song?
Me,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
walk-on song for students.
Yeah.
No, but I just DJ'd a wedding this past weekend. Shout out to Sadie and Mark.
We love them.
My go-to like hype song for like a wedding that like is good. Yeah, but we did the trap mix. No. the thing that like I like to get people pumped is I'll do "Yeah" by Usher. That'll be song
that
number
was
one.
our song for a while.
That's song number one.
Dang. This is a good one.
Whoa, there you go. That's impressive.
You know, it just feels
just-
good. You know.
Yeah. It's so true. Man, we really enjoyed getting to ask Dane and Luke last time, like, why do you do what you do? And I think sometimes people listening can be like, okay, choosing to have no free time.
Yeah.
To try to really intentional have to plan out everything in life.
Yeah.
Because you don't really have room to. Why basketball? Like what about it kind of led you to saying, hey, I'm going to keep doing this?
Yeah. For me, I actually did not like basketball until about 6th grade. I was the kid that they would be like, run baseline to baseline, don't ever touch the basketball, go hide in this corner. I just didn't love it. And so when I finally decided in 8th grade that I wanted to play, it was number one because I loved it and I enjoyed it. And I think the mission side came later, like more my senior year and more of in college, of just like viewing it more as a gifting that God has given me, and I want to use this platform and steward it well because I believe we can reach a lot of people. So
that's sweet.
Yeah.
I love that. What kind of ways are you seeing for both of you guys with basketball? We often talk about how, like, I mean, this whole podcast is like, hey, we want to create joy in our watchers and listeners and all that.
yeah.
But also we want to highlight people who have a platform using their passions for a bigger purpose. And so kind of how do you guys see that playing out in the athletic world? Of you guys have a platform of being athletes. That's kind of a thing that's a given.
Yeah.
What are ways that you feel like you've discovered opportunities to be able to use that in a way that is bigger than sports?
That is a really good question.
Yeah.
Man, I would say I think for me personally, I have such a heart for speaking to people whose shoes I was in just a couple years ago, because for me, high school was not fun and it was not enjoyable. And I actually have a lot of regrets about not trying to seek out things that would have made it better, if that makes sense. And so I'm like, if I can give any advice to the kid who's struggling with the same things that I struggled with, and I have that opportunity, I'm going to take it. And so I think basketball is one way. You get to the college world, and while it's so fun and there's so many privileges, there's a lot of days where I look at my teammates and I'm like, man, I don't know how you get through the day-to-day without Jesus, because I have such a hard time, and I can't rely on my own strength. That's been proven time and time again. And I have to rely on him, and I want to, but I don't know how you guys get through it. And so I think just viewing it as a mission to expand God's kingdom and not my own. So
Yeah.
That's good.
That's cool.
Yeah. I think the hard thing with where I am, like, or with the people around me in my life, is I do really love, like, so I am coaching my own team, so I get to love up on them and, like, minister to them. But, like, with my teammates right now, a lot of them don't want to be, like, talked to or ministered to. So I found that a lot of times you just kind of got to lead by example and just kind of be like, so they'll, like, they don't make fun of me because I've been with them for long enough, but, like, they made a joke the other day. Something happened in practice, and they were like, Maddie's Christian cussing at us. And I was like, well, I mean, I, like, laugh along with them, but, like, they know that that's who I am and that's a part of me. And it's really, like, I'm really trying to lead by example for them and be like, there is something here that you should want. And actually, one of my teammates, her sister and her mom just got baptized, and she has been coming to church, and she's really looking into making the commitment and getting baptized. So that's super exciting.
it's
That's
kind
cool.
of a question of maturity too.
Yeah, it really
Like
is.
you see it in this stage. For me, when I'm seeing in my stages, my teammates are like, wow, you have something that I want. Like, I want that peace and I want that joy. And where do you get this from? And so just maturity of growing up and almost having eyes to see that. So they may not be there yet, but keeping that example, because they will come around. So like last night, I had the opportunity to speak at FCA. And so we had about 50 college kids there, and some of my teammates that would never, ever come to something like that showed up because they're like, well, we want to support you. But now it's like, hey, can we grab coffee and talk about that? Because I want to know more about that. And I don't think there's any other way to reach them besides having the foundation of a relationship first.
Yeah.
So, and then them having eyes to see that. So
That's
it takes
cool.
time.
Yeah,
So-
it really does.
Yeah.
And it'll come. It'll come.
Do you guys trash talk when you play basketball? A little bit.
You do.
I do a little bit. Like
I'm
I've
bad at it.
Yeah.
I've like shushed a student section before.
Yeah.
But like I don't like to talk to like the other team. Usually like if they're like being disrespectful and like half the time I'm like, okay, we're beating you by 40, like you need to not. But yeah, really it's like scoreboard, but I don't love to do it with like the other team because I feel like that's disrespectful to
But
them.
she will do it with her family.
I
Oh,
will
yeah.
most
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
do it with my family.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure your family can take it. We had our staff retreat last week, and it was me and Nick Carver playing pickleball
Oh.
Yeah, I heard about this.
against your dad and grandpa.
How are they at pickleball, by the way?
Better than you. Your grandpa Tom, he is honestly better than I thought he would be. He
Yeah.
did end up eating it. Did you hear he fell?
That, yeah.
What a guy.
But oh, Tom.
Dude, all I hear about is you're talking about trash talking a 74-year-old man.
Yeah, I did trash talk a lot
He gets
because the thing
out.
is, it's like
Take a little bit.
because it's like at your grandpa's age, like it's fine, but your dad was getting a little heated because
yeah.
we
Oh,
kept
yeah.
beating him. And so you could see he was starting to get a little frustrated, and we were just hitting the ball around, and then I embarrassed them, to be frank. And Tom goes, hey, can we just hit the ball around? I said, isn't that what we just did? And I saw your dad get like, he was like,
He's like,
okay,
"No,
it's
all
time
Right,
to
he's
go.
like, you're ready
Yeah.
to go.
And then we beat him
Poke the
by
bear.
like 8 points.
Oh, poor guys.
Sorry to put you guys on
Sorry
blast.
to.
Right now. But,
Trash talking is sometimes just needed.
oh yeah, healthy. It's healthy.
It is.
healthy.
It
It's
can be.
based in love
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
How
It's
did-
from a good place.
and respect.
Right.
Yeah.
Grace, how did you end up choosing? I always get it's psychology that you're studying right now.
Yes.
So, you've talked a little bit about faith, and you've talked about what you're studying. I get really curious about like, okay, so this is kind of a season of time with basketball and all that, but what do you feel like is kind of, again, in a couple years, maybe you'll end college early, like your high school season,
Yeah,
but
you never know.
yeah, when you're kind of looking at like, okay, we've talked about a little bit about faith and psychology. What is that? How do those all kind of come together?
The thinking behind psychology was that while I'm at school and it's being paid for, I wanted to get my degree in psychology so that if I wanted to, I could go back to school and be a Christian counselor. But to be honest, I really would love to just go into ministry afterwards. And so that's more of like I have to go to school for something. And so I'm going to have that in my back pocket just in case, but I don't know if I'll end up being a counselor, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So.
That's right. That's great. I think a little bit on the faith piece, I think being an athlete is a again, we kind of talked about it as a platform, but there's a moment where athletic skills just come to an end to some extent. And so I think for you, it sounds like that faith piece is what might be one of those things that carries on further. For people out there who are like, I'm trying to figure out like about this whole faith thing. Is Jesus the best way to do life, or maybe there's other things like I've really been exposed to people who follow Jesus that haven't been great. For you, what I think, like, what has been the thing that stuck to you that's been like, this is why I decided to follow him. This is how it kind of, this is the real thing.
Yeah.
But for someone who's maybe just trying to figure out, like, what does this mean for me? How has that kind of landed in your life where you're like, this is why I chose this way of life. This is the part why I love Jesus.
Yeah.
Secret sauce.
Yeah, the secret sauce. Besides the pumpkin sauce you put in your coffee today.
Just one pump, please.
One
I
pump
didn't
of
ask
pumpkin
for cinnamon.
sauce.
Normally, I'm like, can you put some cinnamon on top for me? I didn't ask for that. I made it easy. Just back to your question. I would say, I think for me, my high school years were spent trying to find fulfillment in so many different things. And I think it got to the point where I was like, man, I can't find it anywhere. Like, I am not satisfied. I know that this pursuit is endless, and I'm not going to find satisfaction. And so the only thing I haven't tried is Jesus. And I've been having, my dad's a pastor, and my mom's faith is really strong, and I have all these people around me that are saying, hey, just Jesus. Turn to him. And so when I finally did, I was like, man, I have peace like no other. I finally have a community like I never imagined. And just all these things, these God-sized needs that I was taking to the world, God fulfilled all of them. And so I think that's when I was like, okay, there's some truth to this God thing here. And so even now, like I'd say I got baptized when I was young, like 4th grade. But my decision to really follow Jesus didn't come to like my junior year in high school. So
Yeah.
yeah. And it took some hard things kind of kicking me in the butt for me to realize my need for a Savior. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. Well, thanks for sharing that.
yeah.
I think that's key. And if you're an athlete out there, or maybe you guys have experienced this or will, that part where you're like, I don't get to show up to practice every day.
Yeah.
I don't get to hop on the court or the field. There comes a time where it's an end, and a lot of athletic identity is so much into the sport that I would just encourage any athlete out there listening, find some time to invest in your future self. There's a quote that Andy Stanley often says of like something bigger than the sports world, because that will come to a close at some point in time. And so I think the concept of faith and who Jesus is in your time as an athlete and a college student, your senior year, and then also post kind of those moments that we're currently living in, I think is huge, as you're like, I got to find some balance in figuring out my current future, a little bit of what's ahead in a year or two, but also just like who I am outside of my athletic performance. So thanks for sharing some of that. Do any of you guys have any, we're kind of coming to the end, Maddie, Parker, do you guys have anything else you want to add? Okay.
I think we're good.
Grace, do you have any extra, you got any shout outs for anyone that we haven't covered yet, or anything that you want to highlight?
I would just say shout out to Rocky and what you guys are doing here. It's really cool. I'll be honest, when I was growing up in middle school, high school, youth ministry was not such a priority for me. Like, I was not coming on Wednesday nights, and looking back, that's something I wish I would have dived into a little bit more, and I think it's awesome what you guys are doing here. So thanks for having us. This is a fun way for me to have an off day, so it was a good excuse to come back to Colorado and hang out. It was a blast.
I was like, thanks for using your one day of free time to come hang with us.
Man, I
Come
don't think there's
get
any
made
other way to
fun
spend
of
it,
by
so.
some middle schoolers.
Yeah. And you're speaking tonight,
I am, yes.
which we're also super thankful for.
Super excited.
Well, shout out to the Wyoming women's basketball team.
Yeah.
Where can people watch games? Because I know you guys are like packed. Are you guys packed? No, what are you guys?
We're Mountain West.
Mountain West.
Yeah,
so you guys have like there's usually a platform where people can watch games.
Yeah. It's a little bit tricky with our preseason stuff because we're not playing conference games. But when January, like end of December and January rolls around, there's just like Pac-12 network. There's a Mountain West network. And so you can get the app and tune in that way.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to watch some games.
Yeah. Brown and gold.
Brown and gold.
Brown and gold.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's not too far off.
I love it. Well, we're gonna if with your permission, we'll put your Instagram down in the
of course.
bio, and you guys can support Grace in this journey. Watch on the Pac-12 network, the
Mountain
Mountain West, dude.
It's close.
The night is young.
And here's one question I was curious about. Do you have? I have a buddy who's at CSU, and he has like a website with gear.
Yes.
Have Wyoming's women's basketball team isn't on
Yes.
yet? Is that in the works someday?
It's coming. We have like a platform where you can do NIL opportunities and stuff. We don't have specific gear, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
It's more like business and brand deals right now. So
Okay.
I'll keep you updated.
I was
it's
like, listen,
slow and upcoming. But
Keep us updated, because
Yeah.
we'll put it in
Yeah.
wherever we can.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
Everybody get your Moyers jersey on.
Yeah. Hey, that's hard with CSU, Wyoming. Got a little bit of rivalry going on there.
I mean, there's just something to like when I know someone on a team,
Yeah.
I kind of follow my personal allegiances.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we've got people here that, they coached all over, but now it's like they're cheering for the Packers.
Oh.
Because it's like he coached J Love.
Yeah.
So it's like, that makes sense, but it's like they have no other reason. So I'm kind of the same way. It's like, oh, now I'm a Wyoming women's basketball fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Love it, Christian.
It's true.
Yeah.
Love it, Christian.
Yeah.
Pop out of somewhere.
I love it. Well, thank you guys for being on here. Parker, thanks for
Of course.
joining me yet again.
Anytime.
And hey, just after episode 1, we just want to thank you all guys for the support, for the subscribes. Keep it going. Share with people. We are so thankful for the way that you guys have shown up. And so thank you. I don't really have anything else.
Yeah. Grace,
Okay.
Maddie.
Hey,
Yeah,
good
that
luck
was
senior
good.
year.
Thanks.
Good luck. That's a wrap. Peace everyone. The peace.
Go team.
Go
Hands
team.
were switched out, guys.
team.